Next on London Tonight, she died from an undiagnosed and rare heart disorder. But today a coroner said that 14-year-old Shannon Powell would still be alive if she'd got to hospital sooner. Shannon collapsed during a cross-country race in Trent Park in January. But when the ambulance arrived, paramedics took half an hour to find the address, and then they couldn't get through locked gates. However, the coroner said the significant delay was the fault of the race organisers, as Nick Thatcher reports.
Shannon Powell loved life and loved sport, but the teenager had a rare undiagnosed heart disorder. She was just 3 weeks from her 15th birthday when she collapsed during a cross-country race through Trent Park in Enfield. She suffered a violent fit, but paramedics took more than 50 minutes to reach her, after first being given the wrong address and then not being able to gain access to the park. The court in Barnet heard it was this significant delay in getting Shannon to hospital which caused her death. The coroner concluded Shannon's death was therefore contributed to by neglect. The coroner, Andrew Walker, recorded a narrative verdict in which he said although the provision of first aid for the event had been considered and a team of first aiders had been employed, little or no thought had been given to what should happen if an ambulance needed to attend a person at the event. All but one of the gates to the park were locked. There was a mistaken belief that paramedics would have the keys. Furthermore, no risk assessment had taken place for the site for the provision of medical care. Her parents had heard in detail how their daughter had died, and at times it proved too much. But they emerged from court this afternoon with the hope that lessons would be learned.
Had the event been properly organised, Shannon would still be alive today, and as parents this is very hard to bear. We hope that the coroner's recommendations will be adopted. That will mean that in future children will be safer and parents won't have to go through what we have gone through.
Shannon had been described in court as having a thirst for knowledge, a girl who grabbed all opportunities that came her way. Tonight, her head teacher paid this tribute.
Shannon was a remarkable girl. She was absolutely lovely, a delightful girl. She was both intelligent and very sporty. She was the sort of girl who would have had a wonderful future.
Shannon's family left for home knowing the coroner's findings will now be sent to the UK athletics authorities. Nick Thatcher, London Tonight, Barnet.
Well, we did contact the organisers of the race, but they said the only person who was qualified to comment was not available. However, we can now talk to Dr. Fiona Moore, the Medical Director for the London Ambulance Service. Good evening to you, Dr. Moore. Clearly a very sad story. Can you say hand on heart that your staff did everything they could to save Shannon's life?
Good evening. Well, firstly, can I offer our sincere condolences to Shannon's family and friends for their tragic loss. And yes, I am sure that the paramedics who attended Shannon did everything they could. You can imagine how intensely frustrating it was for them to arrive at the scene 9 minutes after the call and to take a very long time to reach Shannon because of the gates being locked and incorrect information being passed to our control room over the phone.
There have been reports, and I have to put them to you, that when the paramedics got to Shannon, they were reluctant to carry her back to the ambulance for health and safety reasons. In fact, one of them said that they were worried about their back. Is there any truth in that at all?
There is absolutely no truth in that. Our crews took the carry chair to where Shannon was. She had already been put on a trolley. There was quite a lot of mud on the path, and they assisted the first aiders who were there to manhandle the trolley back towards the ambulance. So there was absolutely no evidence that health and safety issues were a problem here.
Will you be looking at your processes at all, or are you happy that the London Ambulance Service did everything it could in terms of alerting your staff to the seriousness of the situation, because it would seem that they didn't realise how seriously she was ill?
At the time we got to her, Shannon was still conscious. But yes, we will obviously be looking at the coroner's recommendations very carefully. We would also urge any organisers of events such as this to undertake a risk assessment, as the coroner pointed out, and to liaise with us so that we can get accurate access and egress points, so that if the organisers think about what happens if somebody requires an ambulance at their event, how is that ambulance going to get to the patient?
Right, Dr. Moore, thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you. Still to come on